What's going on, everyone? Welcome to Littleroot Lessons, episode 268, where we will never talk about Reg G again.
After how is Reg G, man?
After that last comment.
Awful.
Honestly, I won't call it awful, but it's a case.
Awful.
Single restricted in general is never my favorite sort of format. I will say I did like it more than Reg H. Because I at least knew that the broken fighting Pokemon, I knew exactly what it was going to do to me. But yeah, I'm actually looking forward to Regulation I. I love double restricted. That's the format where I had my most success in. Back now 3 years ago.
It's a while.
It's been a while. One of the two Pokemon in my main restricted pair is still insanely good, and the other one I sadly have to put down. And we're going to find that out as the three of us, the Carl Carter Row Show, dive into our month one Regulation I tier list. I was talking to Chris earlier today, and Chris, I was like, we have to record early because we're going to be away for Easter and stuff. And he said, this is like the main tier list that's going to make the three of you look that could make the three of you look super dumb in 6 months, once we're 5 or 6 months. And this is month one stuff. So when when I figure out
I feel like this format's mostly already figured out. It's just the four partners that determines more than the duos, how much the duos are good or bad.
Yeah, I think in general the good duos are going to be good. I wouldn't be shocked though if someone cracks the anti-meta duo and spikes an event with it.
Yeah, that stuff's going to happen regardless. Yeah. There's always going to be the I spent 3 months playing this team and I did really well at one of the only, I think it's 6 Reg I events in the season.
Yeah, I know. Technically Europe doesn't even have any more regionals. They're all special events remaining. And then you have, for us, Milwaukee, Portland, NAIC.
Yeah.
And is there another? Milwaukee, Portland.
Milwaukee, NAIC. Portland. We have a special event in the Netherlands, a special event in Italy. There's a regional in Chile.
Mm-hmm.
There's a regional in Melbourne, which those are on the same weekend.
Okay.
Yeah, so I've noticed that that's
the special event in Europe's also one of the special events in Europe's
also that weekend.
That's
weird.
Also that weekend. There's 3 events that weekend.
I think that's actually. I know we've had 2 on the same day. I think 3 in the same weekend has happened before. But
especially when it's Chile and Australia.
Yeah. And also
that's fine.
It's not like TPCI does coverage for them anyway. I mean, let's call it what it is. What was it, last season was the first time they officially gave coverage to Europe. Mm-hmm. European regional coverage previously was done solely through Victory Road. It was all grassroots. And it's Victory Road does all the work. It's just that TPCI pays them and gives them their support now.
Mm-hmm.
And their official casters. You see it on the switches. It's still Victory Road and then 1 or Victory Road 2 or whatever. Would have loved them to actually play through the game and get more music on them, but who can say?
Yeah. So technically there will be 7 Reg I events, including NAIC.
Leading up to Worlds or including Worlds? Leading
up to Worlds.
Okay. So we are going to get a good bit of coverage, but for you going to one of these early events,
hi.
Yes, hi, Carl or anyone.
I'm getting ready to go to 2. If everything goes the right way. So
yeah, I know. NAIC was, at least at the start of the season, was potential at not happening for me. I'm going to be in New York the day before the tournament for an award show, and can't pull that off, especially because I'm in Philly the following week. I do too much travel, but to 2 specific cities only, it seems.
My wife gave me permission, so if I can get in, I can go.
I will not be trying.
Boo!
Yeah, it'll be. Well, I mean, the two of you went to a regional or an event this year, so maybe next season I'll finally go to one, and probably won't be this. Oh, you never know.
Carter was supposed to go to Milwaukee.
I was going to, and then I realized I bought concert tickets for that same weekend.
That's why I want you to go with us.
Yeah, but that costs money.
I will say. I will say this.
Going to Milwaukee also
when is NAIC?
June
mid-June.
13th.
I'm planning on taking vacation in July, so so that money is reserved.
Yeah, actually, I will say that like before we dive in, NAIC signups go up. I believe they said
the
April 20th.
Night of the 22nd and then the morning of the 23rd.
If you haven't been to NAIC, you want to go to a major, you have the time off, the ability to get to New Orleans, go. NAIC is unlike any other regional that you could go to. It's honestly an insanely fun time. I wish I could go. It's just, I can't. But like, if there's only one event you go to a year, one of the ICs is, and especially like NAIC, like that's probably the one to go to. And if you're planning on going to that event or any of these regionals, we're just going to now dive into the restricted pairs. So
let's get rid of a bunch of this first.
Yeah. So the way that this list is broken up, it's broken up by like lead restricted. So the first few look like Terapagos pairings. Terapagos you can get rid of. Honestly, the rest of the Terapagos ones I think we can talk about later. What do you think of Calyrex-Shadow with Rayquaza?
Nah. I'm going to be out.
If it's a bad restricted, we can probably just move on.
Yeah, I'm throwing most of these in F. Maybe they move.
What
up.
is that?
I'm just going to like. That is CSR Kyurem White.
Why aren't you in presentation mode?
What's present? How do I get?
Scroll down. Scroll down. Keep going.
Where it says presentation mode, you hit that.
There you go.
Wow, I've
never known this.
This is why I should be in charge.
Okay, I didn't know about this, and also you've never mentioned it. But yeah, okay, we can go through that. So that's
because I'm usually the one in charge.
How do I make his screen bigger?
How do you like?
I want to be able to see things more. Yes.
Camera? You just open it up yourself. I don't know.
Yeah, I think like press like the zoom. Let me see if I could like zoom like a teeny bit. That's
one more.
Yeah, I figured it out. All right.
One more.
One more.
Quick.
I can't see you all, but it is bigger.
That's all you care about, right? You don't need it. You don't need to see us.
That's fair. Yeah.
One more scroll. Just one more zoom in.
This my zoom thing went away. Where are you? Oh, there we go.
Control plus, Angelo.
You know, I only do math.
Control plus. Carl, can we just go back to me and you being the host? Is that an option?
Does that mean I get to go to bed? Yeah. So like, Dialga probably bad. I love Dialga.
Most Dialga teams, you can get out of here.
Yeah, I'm going.
I think literally anything with a Mewtwo you can get rid of.
Like,
yeah. Yeah, Mewtwo. I'm just
anything with Rayquaza.
Mewtwo, I think we can probably just start from the top, and as these bad ones come up, we can just skip them.
Yeah,
there's so many bad ones. That's the problem. It's not even cherry picking. It's just you just gotta
hold on. Bring back Terapagos.
No, it's bad.
Bring back Terapagos Eternatus. I want to talk about it. Damn it.
Okay, I'll talk about it. Don't.
Hear me out.
If you,
it's the ultimate.
If you say what I think you're about to say, yep, that's okay. So Tim went to me today, for Dad's house cup, and he said, "Does Terapagos learn stall? I'm not learn stall. Learn toxic." And I said, I'm like, I'm not approving it. I'm not doing it. You're not.
He doesn't need your approval.
Yesterday, he said, "Could I play Trapinch?" And I said, "If the team looks great, because there's literally kind of no ground types in this format, cool. Yeah, if you think it's a call and the team looks good, I will approve. I will approve Trapinch. I am not approving toxic Terapagos.
You're the problem.
Yeah, I'm just
Any kind of Kyurem teams, most of those can go.
Yeah, the Kyurem.
There's a reason we haven't seen Kyurem at all. Although I also think Ray's Zacian could actually be talked about.
No, that one's it's Rayquaza's the problem.
I think it's better. I think it's better than everything else down here in F though. You just slap a Chin Pao and then go to town.
It's not that as good.
I mean, it's probably not, but it's still okay. I'm sure you could win games with it and not feel embarrassed.
Yeah, so that's the other thing. I think F tier. Some of these are just bad combos, but at the same time, you are using 2 broken Pokemon in most cases, and you can probably you can get to Master Ball with these duos. They're great. This is great YouTube content in a lot of cases.
A lot of anything in this tier is great.
I really want to play a Mewtwo
and that's it. Really.
I really want to tear a Mewtwo. I don't know why. I'm so Gen 1 pilled right now that Mewtwo is so terrifying to me.
I wonder why you're Gen 1 pilled.
Dude, this Blue Kaiser run is absolutely insane. His
run is very good.
2 deaths through Koga, which I think is literally a record.
I don't see anything else that is immediately getting added.
I think if there is, we can just skip it.
I think we hit most of them.
Yeah. So leading into
a lot of them are bad.
Yeah. So leading into this, at least initially, I think the permutations of restricteds are going to be 2 Pokemon from the following categories: your dogs, your bikes, your weather thingies,
and
your
horses.
Your horses, your turtle, and your bat.
I'm gonna say it. I also don't think Turtle's very good in this format.
So we're going to actually start with Turtle.
Dude, I've actually played more of this format than I did of whatever regulation we're coming out of. Yeah, sure. Yeah. And man, I don't think I've played against a Turtle, and if I have, I know I wasn't close.
So there's a difference between Turtle and G and Turtle.
I think the power ceiling is just way higher. Is the big thing. I think the good bonds are still absurdly good, and I just don't think I'm ever going to be scared of a Turtle.
Well, I'm going to put, then this is what we're going to do. So we're going to put all the Turtle teams up first. We're going to talk about it this way. So these are all the Turtle pairings. I'm going to put them in B, and then as we go through, we will sort them where we see fit. One of the issues I think Terapagos has, or at least the way that I'm viewing the format initially, in general, it feels like the fighting type restricteds and the ghost type restricteds, them being Calyrex-Shadow, Lunala, Koraidon, and Zamazenta, mainly more so Zama than Koraidon, but those feel very splashable. They feel very you can put them in a lot of places. In the grand scheme of things, Calyrex-Shadow goes with pretty much everything because of the Calyrex-Shadow. Zamazenta and Lunala, which you will probably get sick of us talking about, they're probably the 2 most splashable restricted Pokemon in the format. In terms of the fact that they offer really great support with Wide Guard, really great damage, they just complement a lot of the other restricted super well. And when you're a normal type who needs to commit Terra, but that Terra doesn't change your type, you're always weak to Zama, you're always weak to Koraidon, and then you also always have to commit your Terrassalization, because if you don't, then you can't hit Lunala, you can't hit CSR, and to be quite honest, if Lunala's running Wide Guard, you can never hit Lunala unless you're running a coverage.
Yeah.
Because Lunala can just sit in front of your Terra, and they can click Wide Guard more than you can click Terra Starstorm, and you just get completely walled out. Now on the other end, the Lunala also and the CSR also need coverage to hit into you, but that's why they're kind of almost always paired with a fighting type, or a Miraidon that just says screw damage calcs. I'm a walking nuke.
I'm a nuke, regardless. Yeah. So Turtle is very, very specific. The Turtle teams are like, there's only like 2 really good Turtle teams, and it's literally CSR Turtle and Zacian Turtle. Because your Turtle is always going to be your Terra target 95% of the time. And those are the 2 restricteds that never really care about
You really want to
Terra.
pair it with something that it is not going to care about Terra ever.
I will say Zacian Turtle is actually a decent combo. It's probably the one that actually deserves to be in like the B or C tier.
I would say the way I would look at it, Turtle doesn't work great with any of the weather stuff. Which
if you are setting weather or terrain for your team, Turtle is not what you want to be doing.
Yeah, and I will say this:
so Miraidon.
I think the thing is for me, I would put Mirai and Karai in C just because they're just so good and so insular. But yeah, they would
by that argument. I think Kyogre is just as good.
Yeah.
Yeah, but to say if you're going to put those 2 in C, then Kyogre technically goes in C because they all.
I think you could argue that Miraidon is better than both of them, and like as a result is bumped up. But at that point, you're like bumping it strictly because it's Miraidon and not because it's Miraidon Turtle.
Yeah, and so you could put them there. Like again, like I think the Calyrex, the Zacian.
I could see both of them staying in B, and then
everything else dropping to C.
Yeah. So
I think
the other big thing about your restricted combos, you really want to avoid same type damage. So like the Lunala Turtle, that's not really that great.
Where's Groudon Turtle?
They're both.
They didn't even put it there.
Which is fine because it's also bad.
Groudon Turtle would be.
Koraidon is going to be the better Sunsetter.
Which after years of just preaching how good Groudon is, to see it be dethroned is literally a product of power creep. Like,
yeah, and that's I think that was one of the things even when Carl and I were talking about last week's episode with like some of the regulation, like some of the Reg G teams. I believe I forgot whose team it was. Might have been Sam Plesher's. But it was like, okay, 5 of these Pokemon are Gen 9 Mons. Like the oldest Pokemon on this team is Indeed, which is a 6-year-old Pokemon, 5.5, 6 years old.
But it's only one gen removed from the current format.
So it's like a lot of them, and I think that's the big thing, the reason why Pokemon that used to be huge restricted threats, Dialga, Palkia, Kyurem would always do something. In these formats, like, they just aren't enough anymore. The Necrozma forms, like, probably aren't that great.
Dawnwings is probably fine. It's Lunala enough adjacent that it's like it has its own niche and like hard trick room stuff.
Yeah, but like in it's not like it's Palkia was one of the top restricteds the last time we were in GS Cup, and now it's like we probably will not talk about it outside the fact that it probably could be cool-ish with like Calyrex Ice, maybe. But then if you're running Palkia Calyrex Ice, you could be running one of these better better Pokemon to go with Calyrex Ice.
I would move Zamazenta Turtle down to D as well.
Yeah, that's
when one of your restricteds is already weak to fighting and it wants to Terra, you can't Terra your other restricted that's also weak to fighting.
Yeah, and also neither of them can really you have to commit the Terra to hit into the ghost types on the turtle, and again it's like that duo is just completely walled by a Lunala. Going to the next Going to the next
CIR turtle's a little wonky. None of the turtle teams outside of Calyrex-Shadow and Zacian feel great.
Yeah.
I could probably argue all of those into D tier outside of the 2 turtle teams that are up there already.
I'll say because
Terapagos is not a trick room mon. It does not want to go slow. It wants to be able to be in that mid speed tier. You're not gonna underspeed anything in trick room after you Terra, so it's just like It's not that great.
That looks like all of CSR.
That looks like all the Shadow Riders.
Yep, that's what I'm doing. So the next one we're going to talk about are the CSR duos. Calyrex-Shadow is so much better in this regulation than in Regulation G. And again, it popped off last week in Atlanta with Yuki coming in 4th place with it. It was having more usage. Never really hit the highs. Like, it had that like huge peak, I believe, in LA last year with Montana Mott winning with that super bulky Calyrex-Shadow, but then it fell off by Worlds. This Calyrex, though, is not bulky, because when Calyrex isn't the only thing your team is doing, it allows you to just put a Focus Sash on it and run it 252, 252, and you don't have to
run everything down.
Yeah, you don't need these setup moves. You're allowed to just go and run. Honestly, there's a lot of different tech moves. I've seen Snarl, Encore, Disable, Imprison. Will-O-Wisp. There's a lot of different things. One of the things to look back on, the Calyrex-Shadow that won Worlds in 2022. Dynamax made it a slightly different format, but still, that was Protect, Astral Barrage, Snarl, Willow. Like, there was no Psychic coverage on. So, Psychic coverage, I believe, is more important now, because there's now 2 fighting type restricteds that you have to worry about.
Did CSR get Expanding Force in
It does get
Sword and Shield?
It did get Expanding Force in Sword and Shield. But, like, since you were also using it to max,
it wasn't that great, but now that you're not, it's... If you want to die to Wide Guard, you have it.
Mm-hmm. Pretty much. Or, like, if there's, like, an Indeedee team that starts getting super popular, you can always just run it as a tech move where it still is a base 80 power single target move. But if you're into one of these teams if, like, Psychic Terrain becomes super popular, you can run it as, like, a tech against it. Yeah. But Psyshock and Psychic are going to be the more common moves offensively that you see.
Pollen Puff.
Yep, Pollen Puff as well. Draining Kiss is going to probably see a little less play.
I think Pollen Puff replaces Draining Kiss, like, if you have 3 moves.
Yeah. The Terra types as well, you aren't going to really see the Terra Fairy either, because since other teams can run Calyrex-Shadow, Calyrex-Shadow is just going to, in general, see more play. So a lot of times you'll either see Terra Ghost just doubling down on your offense.
Increase your damage, or like
Dark or normal.
Dark or normal. Yeah, I'd say normal is going to be more common. Dark's going to be more common. Fairy kind of goes off to the wayside. Steel coverage is easier to bring now because you have more steel restricteds like Zamazenta and Zacian.
Mm-hmm.
So and with the increase and like you seeing Pollen Puff on the Calyrex-Shadows, I would expect normal to be the second most used Terra type, just because you aren't making yourself weak to opposing Pollen Puffs and things like that.
Yeah, no, I definitely see normal being the case, and one of the things we can actually look at in a second, or at least I can pull up, if I just grab the official tournaments. In Atlanta regionals, we can at least see, like, just going through the differences.
Like what Terra types were.
Yeah, and we might already be seeing some of these changes. So, Calyrex-Shadow, out of 131 Calyrex-Shadow, Dark was the most common Terra type at 28% with 37, followed by Fairy, and then Normal in third at 21, followed by Ghost. So we're expecting a lot of the ones that are Terra Fairy to
the Fairy ones will probably go to Normal or Ghost, depending on how the rest of their team is built.
Yep.
When it comes to these duos in general, I think most of them can probably hang out in the C to A range.
I would agree with that.
There's one I want to put in S.
I was going to say, we'll just start with S. Calyrex-Shadow Zama, in my opinion, is the best duo. It is, they complement, these two Pokemon complement each other perfectly. Like, this is your balance pairing duo of super broken ghost type with very, very powerful dog that is a glue Pokemon. You're going to see this with your pivot bros of Incineroar, with an Urshifu, with and just a ton of balance pieces. Like, this is
probably
the
a random follow me mon of some sort, whether it's an Ogerpon, Indeedee, or Clefairy, or whatever.
Maybe they go with a rain mode. They have like Pelipper, Urshifu as well, and Pelipper acts as a speed control mon. You're not forced to run Wide Guard on it because you have the dog here.
Yep.
Like this is probably the duo that
this is one of two duos I would make sure you have a plan for in Milwaukee for the first event.
I think this is more so like the duo where if you, and I think part of it as well is these are the two Pokemon, even in different duos, if you don't have a Calyrex-Shadow plan and you don't have a Zama plan, then you need to adjust your team.
Yeah, this duo's really powerful, man.
Honestly, it's like going back to like the Calyrex-Zacian team. It's like that. It's the same as what those teams were back in Generation 8, but it's very malleable, all like very balancy, very skill.
They get to do a similar thing. They just get to be a little bit more aggressive because they have Zacian to hit you.
Yeah. And then the current Calyrex-Zacian teams, I would probably put like BC.
I would probably
if we're putting Terapagos. Yeah, if we're putting Terapagos in B, I think the Calyrex.
I think like it's a fine combo. It's not like it's not as hard to get around because they're both very just like damage axis. So if you kind of plan, you're easier to have a plan. Like if you plan for Zacian for Zamazenta Cali, you have a plan for Zacian Cali. Like it's not like you're gonna have any hard time there. Calyrex Miraidon, I would move that one to A.
Yep.
I would move Calyrex Koraidon probably to A.
And I think keeping Cali Groudon and Cali Kyogre and like
I really like Cali Ogre. That's just like personal thoughts.
It's
it's
fine.
Pretty
you just
too.
Really dead.
Yeah, specifically Wide Guard is the big problem,
which is so common right now.
Yeah, like that definitely is the I'm going to boom you duo. And especially because it's like you keep that weather control, and the weather control is really good to help into the Koraidon matchup, which we want to see a lot of. But yeah, it's just like your Wide Guard. That's a duo where you're potentially maybe running Shadow Ball as a third attack on Calyrex, or like the Hydro Pump tech on Kyogre that we used to see.
You're running moves that are going to be able to hit if Wide Guard's if you can't handle the Wide Guard on your opponent team. Calyrex Groudon, kind of that same vein. It's like it's really susceptible to opposing Wide Guard. Groudon in itself is just not that great of a competitive restricted because it's a lot of accuracy issues. Heat Crash was great in single, and it's worse in double restricted formats. When everything weighs about the same as you do, it's really hard for you to outweigh them. Low kick's great. If you get low kick, it's great, but heat crash is not so. Heat crash not so much. So that means you're going back to either like Terra Fire, Terra Blast, or Fire Punch, because your Terra Fire Groudon regardless. That's always what it's going to be. It plays just like Koraidon does. You just Terra Fire every time and then just try to punch things. So if you're playing Groudon, you probably should just be playing Koraidon.
Yeah, in most cases. Unless you
really want the Miraidon like immunity.
And even then, like, if you aren't playing Assault Vest, you can depending on how the Groudon is trained, there's a chance that you drop to a Draco if the Miraidon has Terrain Up, especially like a Helping Hand Draco, or even just a double in to chip it down. So it's like, then you're playing the game of who misses their move. Do they miss their Draco before I miss my P-Blades? Who can say?
Yeah.
But yeah. Moving on to the next group. Do you want to talk? So actually, like with the group, do you want to talk about the Miraidon pairs? Do you want to bang out these Zacian pairs? Maybe go with some of like the smaller pairings.
Let's get some of the smaller ones out of the way. Yeah. What is it? We got.
So let's go with Zacian. Double Dog is D.
Double Dog's not great.
Yeah, Double Dog is for don't. But some of these other pairings,
Zacian plus any special attacker is immediately B.
Yeah, Swordfish is still very viable. Along with did I miss? No, we don't have
Miraidon's
Zacian
at the front. Miraidon Zacian's
Oh, there we
very
go.
front.
Zacian Mirai. And then we have here
Zacian Lunala.
And then I put like Zacian's son, whether it's Koraidon
or the Ringa son duo.
Yeah. And then what do you think of
Big
Zacian
horse.
Kali-I?
So this one's they both are a little bit at odds because you're just doubly weak to fire. So you're like a must Terra on your Calyrex Ice just so you don't get completely blown out by Koraidon. That said, Zacian does have fairy coverage to help a Koraidon, like against a Koraidon that isn't Terra'd, so that's always good. But again, it's just like the speed tiers don't always line up that well. Also, it's double physical.
Yeah, you can only
with the
have
Intrepid
one
Sword
clear
nerf. That means like an Incineroar can cause problems.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna probably put that in D as well because you have a big Incin issue. With the special, and the reason why Zacian, in general, why it's a B tier mon, where we really saw it more as a C tier in the single restricted, it's again because it just provides really good offense for some of these other Pokemon, specifically the physical offense. It also has a really, really great speed stat. It outspeeds every single restricted outside of Calyrex-Shadow. And one of the things that we noted in Regulation G is that you have the bikes, Shampoo, and Flutter all in the same speed tier. Well, Zacian outspeeds all of them. And
here's the flip side of that problem. The Zacians we're used to seeing back in the Sword and Shield times, they only really had to hit like 170 something.
Yeah.
So you got to play the bulky Zacian that lives hits.
Now you have to
can't
play
do
like
that anymore.
You have to play around 20. I believe it's like 206. You
have to hit 206, which is near. It's almost near max speed.
Yeah. So 206 for
is that right?
No, you're thinking of 208
is Zamazenta. Yes, Zamazenta's right. 209.
Yeah, you're right.
Zacian's like 220.
Yes, it's 220 and Cali is 222. Right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, Cali's 222. Yeah, so you always have to be jolly. You will never
you're always jolly, which means you're not adamant, which means you're not getting as much damage out of your Zacian as you normally would be doing. Granted, if you wanted to run the slower, bulkier Zacian, that's probably the line. If you're going to play Zacian, you lose out on the fact that you're not outspeeding the Miraidon and things like that, but sometimes
I actually
that's okay.
I actually think you have to play the faster because I'm not. I mean, we could run through the calcs after, but I'm not sure how much bulk you're going to need to live an Electro Drift.
Most of the good Zacian teams also will have Rillaboom.
Yeah.
So it's turning off your damage. So if you get guaranteed live the Electro Drift from Miraidon after you take the terrain away, you can be slower and it'll be fine.
Yeah, because if you take the terrain away, you're fine. But if you're caught in a position where they have the terrain, it's not going to be fun.
No,
it is not going to be fun for you.
Nothing is ever fun if you leave the Miraidon's terrain out.
Yep. Swordfish is just what it was, but not as broken because Zacian's not as broken.
It's still good. It's serviceable.
Turning off the sun, like the fire weakness, is really, really good. And honestly, one of the other things that really helps Zacian is the fact that while there are a lot of fighting types, you're only neutral to fighting because you're part fairy. And the ground types that used to really plague you, namely Groudon and Landorus Therian, which were staples of the previous
they're just non-existent.
Yeah, you weren't seeing them.
The worst you'll have to worry about, I think, is Landorus Eye.
I think so.
In terms of ground types, that's the scariest thing you'll have to fear. Blood Moon Ursaluna sometimes.
Yeah, honestly, we were talking about this in my building group, and it feels like both Ursalunas just aren't enough.
The Ursalunas are very specific matchups. They are good. Like, I need a random 6 to deal with this specific matchup, and that's what Blood Moon or regular Ursaluna is very good at doing, is dealing with a very specific matchup. But they are not a bring to every game type of Pokemon anymore. The other benefit to playing Zacian in general alongside anything is Zacian's very, like, I don't need to Terra. Fairy Steel is such a good typing, like, defensively, that you can slap it next to Miraidon or your Kyogre or your Calyrex-Shadow or your Lunala, anything that you have, like, must Terra. That's why Zacian Turtle is in Bs. I do not have to Terra my Zacian.
To comment on that as well, like, Zacian already gets a +1 to its attack, so, like, you don't need the extra power boost from, like, Terra Stab as well. So, like, it's really just beneficial to not have to stress about putting it towards there. Obviously, it is a mon that, like, occasionally can benefit from it. You know, being able to, like, Terra Water to be able to, like, remove your fire weakness, be able to resist, like, Kyogre, stuff like that, definitely can help, but it's not a big necessity like it is for these other mods.
Yeah. Zacian's Terra types are almost always going to be defensive Terras.
So I won't go that far. So look, I mean, well, Fairy...
I said almost always.
Yes. So right now we're seeing, this is just super early usage stats. From Munch Stats, we're seeing the most common Terra type being Fairy, which not only is it is a offensive,
it's a defensive Terra type that allows you to still get stabbed for play rough.
Yep.
But I really would not want to be Terraing and trying to hit play roughs.
Yeah, the main Terra that I actually think is really, really good in Zacian, which currently is the 4th most used, this is another Pokemon that really likes the Stellar Terra.
Yeah, like that's what perfect for it is. If you want to Stellar Terra this Pokemon, you can. It's great to fix, like, oh, I had to pivot out, so I lost my boost. Oh, I could just Terra and then I could get my boost back. Again, it's just like, if you're wasting your Terra on 1 attack or 2 attack boosts, and you happen to not get the KO because they pivoted the correct way or something, it just feels like a waste of your Terra.
Yeah. Moving on, which bike do you want to go with? The Ice Horsey?
Let's do the other dog. Let's just do the other dog.
Yeah, let's do Zama. So the main Zamas we have left,
Miraidon Zama, Koraidon Zama,
Miraidon.
Calyrex Zama. There's Kyogre Zama, Lunala Zama, and then Koraidon Zama at the end.
Yeah, I'm just throwing them up here. Oh,
you grabbed one extra. I was about to say you grabbed one extra that wasn't supposed to go.
That was Lunala. Yeah, I'm not gonna. These aren't all saying A. I would probably move Kyogre Zama into B.
I think Lunala Zama is on the same train as Zacian's, as a Zama Calyrex-Shadow.
I feel like both of them are really defensive,
but it's not as good, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
It's close because it's a similar style of, like, hey, this is the same type of typing.
I think both of them are just...
Lunala is just still a good attacker.
I mean, you need, like,
it's a good
to be able to start really doing damage, though, right?
Oh, no, not anymore. No, you just play Calm Mind.
Really? Okay.
Since you don't have to play Wide Guard on your Lunala now, you just play Calm Mind Moonblast.
See, every Lunala I've ran into has been, you know, the Wide Guard stuff, and I'm just like, sure, eat this Hydro Pump and Volt Switch, idiot.
Yeah, so I think, like, if you're doing it specifically with the Zamazenta, you can definitely go with the Calm Mind
I
stuff.
will agree with that,
even just
like, you don't need both your restricteds to be defensive, like, defensive walls, yeah. Like, you don't need double Wide Guard on your restricted duo.
Yeah, you don't need double Wide Guard.
Yeah, I think one of the things that does help with the Zama Lunala is that, like, again, it's a great typing. You're gaining a speed control mon. The people forget while Lunala, it will mainly go for Trick Room. It can learn Tailwind. It can be your
Tailwind in front of you.
Yeah. I think the issue with it compared to CSR Zama is that Sash CSR is an immediate threat that
you're
not
pushing you're not putting out immediate pressure anymore.
Yeah, so
that's why it's not like S tier.
If you're going to play like Lunala Zama, you need your other 4, your non-restricted, to be really, really powerful. And there's a lot of choices. Like, I mean, we've said it before. Urshifu in the right stakes is another restricted. Raging Bolt in the right position is another restricted. But, like, for me, that's why I honestly kind of want to put it closer to B tier.
I think it's better than most of the teams in B tier.
And that's why I think it's better than... And we'll put
if it's going to be in B, it'd be at the very top of B. If there was, like, in between, it would be the in between.
Yeah. So I have no issue, though, leaving it in A. Miraidon Zama...
It's kind of in the same vein. It's that same kind of Calyrex Zama style team where it's immediate pressure because Miraidon's immediate pressure. It also gives Miraidon that wide guard safety against opposing Calyrex, which is really good against opposing Calyrex Ice, against opposing Calyrex-Shadow, which are both big threats to your Miraidon. There's a lot to like about that duo. It also just you're also probably the AV set on that Miraidon because you're playing a slower game. Like, so here's my thinking process for that one. It's like you are playing that slower style of gameplay with Zama. Zama's looking to play that more balancey style. You want to draw the game out. Miraidon being locked into choice specs with Zama as a partner isn't great because Zama's not outputting a ton of damage pressure into every type of Pokemon, and so being a little bit more flexible on your
item,
on your Miraidon is key. You can't just be locked into that Draco. You can't be locked into that Dazzling Gleam all the time with Zama as your partner.
I realized I accidentally put the Koraidon Zama in S as I was throwing things up. Like I think it's a C tier.
Yeah, it's not the best. You're making your Zama technically weaker because you're increasing the fire damage it's taking.
Yeah, and again, it's like
yeah. So it's also a situation of Koraidon is another one of these must Terra Pokemon. It feels like all the time. Like, it was definitely that way in Reg G, and it's probably going to be that way a lot in Reg I. Like, you almost always want to be Terra Fire. Like, as soon as Koraidon hits the field, you almost want to Terra it every time. Just because it helps increase your fire type attacks that you're probably running 2 of.
In most cases, yeah.
In, like, most cases. And Collision Course already gets the boost anyway. Because the sun's out. So... Yeah, you don't have to worry about anything else. So just being Terra Fire and just being a fire type on the drop is usually really good.
Yeah. And then the final one, like the Calyrex Ice Zama, they're good.
It's good. They play well together. I don't know if it's like game breaking good as some of these other A ones are.
But I think the Pokemon on their own are just so good that you can play it, that like it's going to end up as a high level team. I have no issue keeping it in A.
Yeah, I have no problem. It's one of those. It's like in the same space. It's just like, is this a B team? Is this an A team? It's on that cusp.
Yeah.
Let's knock out Kyogre. There's like
Kyogre Miraidon.
Kyogre Miraidon is my favorite duo in this format.
Kyogre Miraidon's on here twice, just FYI.
Yeah.
It is?
It's Kyogre Miraidon and Miraidon Kyogre, which are very different.
Oh, wow. I don't know if we're going to put them both. I'm going to leave them both here, and we're going to see if anyone else pops and sees that. I know, Carter, I believe you were playing that a lot. Compared to the other restricteds, where do you like duos? Where do you think you would
legitimately think that like these two are my I think Miraidon is by far the best restricted. I don't think there's like any argument against that. I do think this duo makes you a little weak to specifically like Rillaboom, so being able to like play around that specifically is very important. But like you have the resources to being able to do so. It's just like, you know, Volt switching out, being able to like reset your terrain as needed. And like Rillaboom switching in does not like taking a water spout. Like it's still going to do a decent chunk.
Yeah.
And I also think there's just like other incidental things you can do to like bait it out. As weird as this sounds, I've been playing Chi-Yu next to Kyogre because it
no, it makes sense.
You just get the damage reduction. You get the damage increase.
You mean the click buttons boy likes having them on that gives you an extra boost?
Yeah, it's just like having an extra damage.
And
like
the thing about it is like people see it and go Chi-Yu plus like Kyogre, that's a non-bow, you're reducing your fire damage, and you're just like, I have a second restricted here, so like being able to just like make my volt switches and my electro drifts do that much more, it like the big damage button is really big.
Yeah, like that trio there together, that's where your double special restricted start to thrive, is when you're starting to look into like playing Chi-Yu next to it. Like your double physical ones, like your double dog or whatever, you're gonna almost always have to play Chen Pao on those types of teams, just so you get that extra, so you can get through a lot of the damage reduction that is like physical attackers can run into.
Yeah, Kyogre plus Urshifu
so
is also just like
for these
a
two?
cheat code. It literally is just insane. I think I sent you a replay of. It was Whimsicott plus Urshifu, and I just like one shot a Zacian. And it was like, oh, yeah. Okay. It's like, I could do that, or I could like also just have Kyogre next to it too and do the same thing. Like, it's insane how much damage Urshifu does, and then you're giving it a rain boost on top of that, and like it's insane. I think the duo does kind of struggle against like CSR specifically, especially if they have some kind of like speed control via like Tailwind, because Ogre needs Scarf to be able to outspeed. Miraidon does outspeed, right? Does Miraidon get to 232?
No, Miraidon is at 205.
Oh, okay, that's right.
So CSR outspeeds everything. Yeah, and CSR is the fastest restricted. Actually, it's just
Where was
flat
I getting
out
232?
the fastest.
I don't know.
Was 230?
Nothing's that fast.
Well, no, I'm thinking
is that Kyogre under
that?
Tailwind?
I was going to say.
No, that's like
Kyogre,
320.
That's like
336.
Kyogre max speed Kyogre is 156.
I was close.
Yeah, so under Tailwind, that's 312. Is that like maybe like certain Scarf Urshins?
Yeah,
but
like
what you were saying with
that number out, but
yeah, with what you were saying with the Urshifu in Rain, I forgot who said it, but I heard someone say like the biggest Urshifu also like just wasn't. I'm not saying it was a bad Pokemon, but in Generation 8, it didn't really fully take advantage of Terra. Fully didn't take advantage of Dynamax, and so we really didn't see it as much. And through that, like, people didn't realize that, like, sure, you're doubling down on water types, but Urshifu in the rain is quite easily one of the most busted Pokemon ever. And that, I think, is the big difference in Kyogre teams from Generation 8 and Kyogre teams now. We know how, we like truly understand how good Urshifu is more than ever, and that, so yeah, some games Kyogre is just support because the Urshifu is the actual
like along that same lines. There's other games where like Iron Hands is that to Miraidon as well, right? Like Miraidon also single-handedly can just win games because, Iron Hands can just win games because like, oh no, they're gonna set up Trick Room. Alright, cool. Here's my Iron Hands under electric terrain. I'm gonna Terra and just punch you really, really hard.
Just punch it, yeah. I saw the sneaky double weathered throwing it in F. I saw that.
Yeah. Oh no, that's
on
an
purpose.
F.
It's bad.
That's an F. This isn't Jess Rosenberg trying to talk me into Kyogre Groudon.
I would like to
back
make
in,
a
like,
complaint. Lugia Eternatus is not on this list.
There's a couple that are on the list that I really want to talk about.
Is Lugia Eternatus on that list?
Carter,
it's not on that list, no.
Carter, you're going to prison.
I haven't built it yet. Now I'm still in my click big button phase.
Carter, in today's U.S., you can just get deported for thought crimes, and I think that might be one.
Angelo,
that might
I'm
get you
white.
deported.
I don't have to worry about that.
I don't know if I said this on the pod or not. I might have. On that note, side note, my mother-in-law. Don't get ahead of me. My mother-in-law back in like February told me that she had a nightmare that while Amanda and I were in New York, like ice just like shanghaied me, and Amanda like didn't know how to get back home.
Don't joke about stuff like that. It's a very real possibility.
It is. Yeah, because
Angelo doesn't have to worry about that. He's rich.
Moving on.
Anywho.
So we're just going to keep, I think, Miraidon, Kyogre in B.
Yeah,
and
fine.
And I think, honestly, the other two Kyogre teams that we have in B, Kyogre with Calyrex Ice and Kyogre with Lunala, I think they're also just B tier.
The Calyrex Ice Kyogre might be A-worthy just because it harkens back to the slower style of like Kyogre Calyrex teams that we did see a little bit in Sword and Shield.
Yeah, but back in Sword and Shield, there wasn't a Miraidon that just blew everything up.
Well, that's what the Calyrex Ice is for.
Yeah, I don't know.
You get to set your Trick Room, and then what's that fast Miraidon going to do? It's going to stare at this Calyrex Ice sitting across from it, and then it can't safely Terra because you're either eating high horsepower or Glacial Lance.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's a B tier. Like I think the A tier duos we have so far, all 5 of them are better, and I think we're going to throw a few others in that A tier that are also just going to be better.
Not really.
I think so.
I think we got like one that's probably A, and then one that's probably S, and then the rest are probably like B's and C's.
I think now go through so do you want to go with the horse? Actually, let's bang out a couple others because there are some.
Let's get these Koraidons out of here.
Because
Koraidon Ho-Oh is one I've been wanting to talk about for a hot minute.
So I'm putting it in D.
You're gonna get so much flack from many Timmies.
Hey, guess what?
You should.
I don't care.
Ho-Oh is literally the anti-meta Pokemon. You know what Ho-Oh's problem was always you had to pair it with Groudon, and so your offense problems were awful because you couldn't hit Sacred Fire and P-Blades in the same turn. You get to solve that problem because Koraidon actually hits all of its moves.
It's funny because like when I interviewed Stefan like about a year ago, talked about the creativity in team building, like one of the things he mentioned was like, yeah, looking forward, hey, you can run Ho-Oh with Koraidon, because the other thing that's really nice is Koraidon acts as a water resist. It acts as a rock resist.
Yeah.
Like, you aren't compounding on that water weakness. Like, sure, the sun gets rid of it, but then the rain comes up, and now you're playing a fun little song and dance again.
But you still have Koraidon to just eat that water type attack.
Exactly. With that being said, Ho-Oh's just significantly worse than every single other restricted in every single other duo that we have in D on. Like, it's a good Pokemon, it's a cool Pokemon, you're pretty much limited
Ho-Oh eats, like, every hit from Calyrex-Shadow Rider. It eats
does.
it, and with comfortable living. It resists every fire type attack out of Koraidon. Like, yes, you have issues with Miraidon, but you can fix that problem because you also have your own Koraidon.
I don't know, I just
you
think
also get to play things like Fluttermane and other stuff next to this Ho-Oh now because you can actually easily set up Sun. And I'm a little bit higher on Ho-Oh probably than you are, just because I know
I stand with Carl on this one.
Can actually do something. I would have it at least in C. It's not D. I think it's at least C. Just because
it's 2-1, Angelo. You're wrong.
Sure, we will. We'll see where the highest Koraidon places.
You won't see it for a hot minute. It is very much the anti-meta team.
Yeah, I'm just not sold. I am more sold on Koraidon Lunala.
It's just the upgraded version of Lunaludon. Because guess what? When your other restricted hits its moves consistently, Lunala is better.
Pretty much. This duo, again, you were able to add an extra element of speed control to these Koraidon teams. I know a few people are already working on using this. Honestly, the big star of the end of Regulation G, and a Pokemon that has a tailwind going into Regulation I, pun intended, is Koraidon. It's like ever since Wolfe won EUIC, everyone realized like how much of a damage bundle this Pokemon is. This in a different yet similar sense as the way we finally realized Miraidon was just a bundle of damage early into Regulation G, and having this big damage Pokemon that's super fast and also runs moves that hit all the time, that's really, really great. And then throw in the fact that a lot of these Pokemon, like, you have 4 Zacian teams in the tier above it. We're going to be seeing, Zamazenta teams. We're going to be seeing more Zacian than usual. So being a fighting type with fire coverage is really, really, really good right now, just typing wise. So it is just like the more improved one. Putting it in B, honestly, I might even say it's an A tier mon.
It'll definitely be around. One of the benefits of the Koraidon Lunala combo is also Lunala's Shadow Shield, making it so you don't have to always Terra Lunala in certain situations to live hits. Means that you could save your Terra for your Koraidon to Terra Fire and just sweep after Lunala's chipped whoever down.
Yeah. Honestly, at this point, I'm thinking I'm going to keep it in A tier.
It's A. It's a solid A.
Yeah,
it still really struggles against Calyrex-Shadow. Koraidon not being faster than Calyrex-Shadow, meaning that you take an Astral Barrage and then you're already really low on HP at that point. You're not being able to click Flare Blitz as much as you want, which is what you want to be doing with Koraidon. That's like the big issue. That's what keeps the Koraidon, and I guess to an extent the Groudon style of teams with Lunala down, is Calyrex-Shadow Rider means that you have to you're clicking Wide Guard with your Lunala if you have it.
Yeah, it also means just like in terms of your partners, you have to have one of like Shiyu, Brute Bonnet.
You gotta have a check.
Yeah, you have to have a.
Most teams will. Like that's just part of this format.
Yeah.
Most teams will always have a check for Calyrex-Shadow.
Yeah, you for this duo specifically, if you have a dark type, you have to have that fast priority. And we were seeing that again with the rise of Brute Bonnet teams, like with the Koraidon. So Brute Bonnet could continue to see its rise in usage with these duos, because Brute Bonnet, one of the things that the previous Koraidon teams Regulation G could not provide it with was Trick Room. Now you can go Trick Room Lunala and have your Sucker Punch / Spore spamming Brute Bonnet, which is something that it was never really able to do much of when you were just like, it was just the straight up Koraidon stuff that in the grand scheme of things didn't really like being in Trick Room.
We talked all that stuff kind of applies the same stuff to Lunala Groudon.
Yeah,
except Groudon likes to miss its moves, so we don't like to play that game. You missed a couple Koraidon teams, technically.
Yeah, I'm going through those. Double Bike,
Double Dragon, double Bike Dragon. It's fine. It's not great.
Yeah, I don't envision
this
using this one ever, but
it is the ultimate Raging Bolt.
Yeah. Oh, so yeah, no. If you're running this team, you're restricted as Raging Bolt.
Yeah, you just Terra Fairy your Raging Bolt, and you just start clicking.
When you put it like that, you're not wrong.
Yeah. Koraidon, Calyrex.
So this is in the same vein as any other like steel type with Koraidon. You're boosting your fire weakness on your Calyrex Ice.
Yeah.
Which means you want to Terra it, but you can't really always Terra that because you want to Terra Fire your Koraidon. So they're kind of just really at odds, going back and forth with each other. This is almost another D tier in my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say like CD.
Because like the Groudon Calyrex kind of is that same vein.
I think just going through, so like Calyrex Groudon was a duo we did see pop up in Series 12. As we've kind of already discussed, if we're not putting, like, maybe it's like this, Calyrex with Koraidon.
I think they're both still just as bad together. They can just be bad together.
Yeah. Going through together. Miraidon Groudon. Now, Miraidon Groudon
this one's weird. This one's always like weird in my head. It's just like, oh, I can play Disquake if I could somehow make sure my Miraidon is not getting hit.
And that's the thing. Like this was like super early. Like
people loved it super early.
Yeah, like this because it was as you said, like this is the Disquake duo. And then you realize no, the spread move you click with Miraidon is Terra Fairy D-Gleam. And
no, you click Parabolic Charge.
Oh, with this duo, yeah.
Stop it.
I've seen more
No, that's actually what it
stop
is.
It.
I'm not joking.
No,
I know you're not
exactly
joking, but stop it.
The problem is you're clicking P-Blades, and that really sucks.
Yeah.
Carl, just set up gravity.
That pretty much sums it up.
Honestly, unironically, hold on. Hear me out. Angela's favorite item, zoom lens.
Terrorist.
Oh my god.
Terrorist. Just, actually, I had to talk about a zoom lens wheezing yesterday, and it kind of made sense. And the zoom lens on the key train, in the grand scheme of things, it makes sense. It's still not, like, my favorite thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, this is just, like, we're putting in C because you have that electric ground that's just a staple duo that we know is usually good.
Someone will do well with it because it's just that novel, but it's not, like, consistently good. You're going to see it all the time.
Yeah. So we have 3 pairs left. I'm going to start with Calyrex, Ice, and Lunala.
Hey, look, what's the hard Trick Room team?
Yeah.
Well, one of the hard Trick Room teams. The other one's not here.
I'd say...
Okay, I did the math.
Which, like, B tier?
Zoomblend's Groudon actually makes P-Blades 100% accurate.
Oh, neat.
Yeah.
As long as you're moving...
Yeah, as long as you're moving last. But, like, honestly, in this format, that might not be that...
Honestly, it's probably not.
You'd be surprised. Like, every Calyrex Ice just sits there and laughs at you.
Okay, Carl, if they're doing that,
yeah,
they're not going to like the double up anyway. Like...
Well, no, Calyrex Ice just eats you alive.
Minor details, okay?
Yeah.
Okay, you tear fire and punch them.
They just tear fire back at you.
Alright, then they're weak to P-Blades. Make up your mind. What do you want to lose to, Carl?
They're moving after you. They're either moving before you under Trick Room, and they're clicking high horsepower into you because you've already Terra'd, or B, you didn't Terra, expected them to Terra, and so you're going to click P-Blades, and they're just going to click Glacial Lance and kill you.
This game's stupid.
There's no... that's part of the problem of, like, why Groudon's not great. Groudon also just dies Calyrex Ice, unless you Terra. Like, it's a must Terra situation for Groudon every time.
I don't know, the thing, it is, like, this duo, it's a harder Trick Room, but, like, looking at some of the things in C tier...
So the reason why this works so well is it's more of the complementary coverage from each other. Calyrex, they both being able to set up Trick Room's really good. A lot of what Lunala can do for Calyrex also being like that kind of maybe Tailwind once in a while is really good. It's like I said, it's not the most optimal duo. Palkia Calyrex Ice is not listed on here. This was going to be my hard Trick Room, like, hill to die on. Like, that's my hard Trick Room.
I really like the idea of, for, like, specifically hard Trick Room, Dialga plus Cali Ice. And I know, like, we threw it down in F, but I like the idea of it. That doesn't mean it's good.
That's because that one's the Dialga origin.
Also
that's
true.
Bad.
I will say,
there wasn't a single regular Dialga on here, right?
No.
No, because they threw the Origin there. I do like Origin. I think that you, unless you're playing AV Dialga, you play Origin
That's the
pretty
thing,
much
is
all
you
the time.
want the AV
Yeah.
Dialga.
Unless
you really want that.
It's just it's missing Dynamax. It can't.
You don't get all the boosts anymore.
Yeah, you can't do, and trust me, coming from like one of the two like best bad Dialga players or like worst good Dialga players, who can say
we'll go with
that has existed in the history of VGC.
I have just decided I'm going to be a jerk.
It ain't it.
I don't know what it is. I'm sorry, Angela.
It's a Monday. It's fine. But yeah,
the Lunala Calyrex B&B is fine. It's probably what it wants to be. The other one is the Dawnwings. That's also kind of that same vein of just like Dawnwings does a similar but different thing. You don't get Wide Guard, but you still get to do all the fun stuff. Get that sucker in S. It belongs in S. It's the only other S tier.
I'm still not sold on it being S.
It is the other S tier. It is the other S tier. It's just the harder of the S tiers to build.
Yeah. We'll start out first. Lunala Miraidon, which is which is the restricted duo that I've started with this format. One of the fun things you can do with the Lunala.
You get to do E-Seed things.
Exactly. Pretty much you throw it onto like your Arubega team, and it's just bulkier.
It replaces your Farigiraf effectively.
Yeah, it's bulkier Farigiraf. You can actually do some really fun things as well, because it does give you that Wide Guard, which really, really helps going into Calyrex Ice, which always would be a Pokemon that Miraidon would have trouble with.
I tried to mute before it came out. I'm sorry.
Nah, you're good.
It's fine. It provides some really cool damage as well. I've been testing it a little. It did come in, I believe, 3rd place in the VR tour that was earlier this month. So there are other people looking at it. I think that this is a duo that definitely has legs. It's just trying to figure out the exact way to run it.
Yeah.
But again, like utilizing not only like the Electric Seed, it also really helps with Incineroar or just any Pokemon that wants to try to use knockoff into the Lunala. Not only does the Shadow Shield significantly nerf the damage, but you're stopping them from getting that item boost because you already used your item.
Your item's already gone, so the knockoff's not that great.
Yeah.
The duo definitely does have some issues with certain other combos. Zamazenta is a little bit of an issue. The Zamazenta Terras, you have a hard time because you kind of want to Terra your Lunala sometimes, you kind of want to Terra your Miraidon sometimes, and so like a well-timed Zamazenta Terra can kind of cause problems because you're not OHKOing it anymore. You're kind of having to 3-hit it, depending on what the Terra type is. This is another one where it's just like Rillaboom can cause issues because if you are playing like the Trick Room style where you're kind of a slower Lunala, you kind of can just get hit first and then your Shadow Shield's broken and then they just kind of can blow through you because you're losing that Farigiraf effectively. You're losing that anti-priority. And like, yes, you're not hit by Fake Out, but you also don't really appreciate getting your Shadow Shield broken for almost nothing off of a Grassy Glide.
Yeah,
and then you get doubled up, and then your Lunala's gone.
Yeah, the Rillaboom definitely is an issue, which, again, your partner Pokemon usually have to help solve that. The team that I was using, that same team that placed in VR, you're using Scarf Chi-Yu, which, again, like, you aren't stopping the Grassy Glide, but that at least is helping you with not only, again, threatening like an overheat or a heat wave, but just like being able to, you lose your terrain, but swapping the Chi-Yu in to make sure that like a Draco Meteor from the Miraidon goes and picks up the Rillaboom to solve it that way instead of trying to dance around and play the terrain game. You just have a way to get rid of their terrain game and then you make your pivot out. Because while you're taking out your Miraidon, they have to worry about a Scarf Chi-Yu on the field.
Yeah.
it's again, I like out of these seems like that's been the one that I've gravitated to, and the other one's the one that you gravitated to, which
this is the one that I planted my flag in very early that said that like this is one of the probably the strongest duos, just because on paper, it is very hard to find something that Calyrex Ice and or Miraidon does not deal with.
Yeah,
like,
and
typing wise, these two hit everything for at minimum neutral.
Yeah, and we've seen like in a lot of cases it goes like the fast mode, slow mode. While the Lunala Miraidon has that fast mode, slow mode as well. The Miraidon, I'm not Miraidon. The Lunala isn't doing as much damage as a Calyrex Ice.
Yeah.
So the Miraidon Lunala, you're getting Trick Room up a lot easier, and you're out bulking a lot of things. This one, you're still getting the Trick Room up in most cases, and also you're blowing stuff up.
Yeah, you get to be able to apply pressure and still apply the threat of like a Trick Room or whatever your other rescue team is doing. A lot of the Koraidon, a lot of the Miraidon Calyrex teams are doing the Farigiraf, Iron Hands, Core. And then it's just like your last two slots are just like, okay, what matchups do I think I'm going to need to beat? Okay, those are the two Pokemon that I bring to beat these matchups.
To
Ogerpon, Urshifu, Pelipper, Landorus. There's a lot of ways to eat this Reese's, and that's part of the reason why we didn't see it do well at BR. It is the much harder team to figure out and build, whereas Zamazenta Calyrex-Shadow is okay. Here's my Rillaboom. Here's my Incineroar. Here's my Urshifu. It's lazy. It's lazy team building because it's literally just slap it all
team
together.
It's like that is the simple this S tier is the simple definition of like the Zama CSR is good mons, balance. I'm going to pivot. I'm going to position. I'm going to do damage. I'm going to just like win my trades and play like good solid Pokemon. The CIR Miraidon definitely has a lot more of an offensive spin to it. You have that direct speed control with what you were saying with the Farig Iron Hands. Like if we could extend it out, I honestly would make this a quartet. I think both the Farig and the Iron Hands, at least in the metagame as of April 14th, 2025 at 9:45 p.m. I think those two are mandatory with Miraidon and Ice Rider. So like it's a tougher build because finding those last two, it's not obvious. But at the same time,
it's a more of a puzzle challenge rather than a just I have the balance bros plus Ogerpon,
Pelipper,
Ogre, whatever you want that last slot to be. It's more of okay, I have these four. These four are good into a lot of this what's below me. I just need to focus my last two slots on specific matchups that I think I'm going to see a lot of at this event.
Yeah, I think one of the other things like that we've seen with this, or just in the format in general, speed control and damage reduction in various forms are very important. We see that a lot with a lot of our top pairs where they have some sort of damage reduction, whether it's wide guard, or like weather trying to take out a certain type of damage. Again, a lot of Trick Room, a lot of Pokemon that can set Trick Room that are doing very, very well. Trick Room in general is the more broken, or at least the higher level speed control than Tailwind. So
it's a lot important. Of just like a lot of the popular restricteds are fast. Like they're just inherently fast. And so Trick Room's the best way to kind of get a leg up on all of those and not like have to worry about wasting your you're restricted to just set Trick Room. Like yes, Calyrex Ice and Lunala do set the Trick Room, but like you mentioned, the Giraffe on the Miraidon Calyrex Ice team will also set Trick Room. The Indeedee that somehow that the Indeedee that's probably the 6th slot on one of these A teams that has a Lunala or a Calyrex-Shadow also sets the Trick Room for you. Things like that are going to be... It's going to be super common to see just like random Trick Room setter as a 6th mon because that's how you win the speed control game.
Yeah, another thing, like, I think, like, even just non-Tailwind Trick Room Speed Control, Grim is probably super well positioned. We've seen success with Grimmsnarl mainly from Joe with Miraidon.
Grim is on my list of Pokemon currently for my build for Milwaukee, just because
I was going to say, like,
screens and
yeah,
screens is that good.
Screens are really good. Like, T-Wave is very good. As we were saying, Snarl is very good. There is a lot of, like, honestly, a lot of really interesting pairs. And one of the other things is a lot of these teams, like, they do and play differently. Even though, especially at the top, it's, again, just permutations of, like, the same, like, 4 or 5 different Pokemon. They all play relatively different. And that's going to be at least the fun part of this format, especially compared to Regulation G, where it's like pretty much all the Zama teams played the same way. Like, the Calyrex Ice teams played relatively the same. The Miraidon teams played relatively the same. Now it's like, okay, Miraidon Zama plays differently from Miraidon Ice Rider, which plays differently from Miraidon Lunala, so on and so forth. So while we might see the same Pokemon, the way that the teams interact with each other is going to be a lot more interesting. Different. Yeah, it'll make probably more enjoyable stream matches, as we noted with last week's episode. The person who got momentum first a lot of the times, and, like, it would take, like, a couple hard reads for someone to get back into it, and if you aren't making those hard reads, or you're just out of it, then you're just out. You have the ability to get back into games when you have 2 restricted Pokemon instead of 1.
Yeah.
So that is the tier list.
If your duo that you were hoping to see wasn't on here, just comment it down below, and we'll give you a letter grade.
Yeah. And then maybe, like,
this was an incomplete list. There was 2 Palkia origins on here.
Yeah, the Time Space and Palkia with Kyogre. But then, like, they made time to, like, put in, like, freaking Kyurem Black teams. Like, I can't remember the last time Kyurem Black has done anything.
I don't even think it's like...
Yeah, like, the fact that there's a Kyurem Black at all in this list is crazy.
Yeah, like, yeah. Kyurem...
the fact that there's Mewtwo at all in this list is
Mewtwo.
Crazy.
I don't know what I'm playing it next to,
but
I'm gonna go play Mewtwo.
It's really bad.
I mean, we can look. So let me go to Munch stats and see if anyone has even used it. So Mewtwo has been used 0.13%.
There you go. It's like 1.
Its top partners are Indeedee Female, Incin, Koraidon, Urshifu, Calyrex-Shadow, and Calyrex Ice. Looks like Stellar Terra for some reason. I played Stellar Terra.
Like, when I was doing the, like, video, like, restricted duos back in Sword and Shield, I played, like, AV Mewtwo. Like,
yeah, AV is the second most common item, tied with Iron Ball.
I'm telling you, man, what really just needs to happen is we need to bring back Gen 1 crits, and Mewtwo will be a menace again.
No, it's not even close to how that's gonna work.
If we're going to bring back Gen 1 crits, and you will not be able to play...
You will never crit with Mewtwo again.
Because your Mewtwo won't move. Because the Calyrex-Shadow blows you up.
No. Okay, let me rephrase that. Only for Gen 1 Mons.
Yeah,
no, absolutely not, but doesn't mean I'm not on board for it.
So, speaking of Gen 1 Mons, I will stop sharing. Last week we went and did a new segment where we have to...
I'm so excited.
I am not.
I've had to do this twice on stream, and it is genuinely, like, the best part of any stream I've had.
Oh my god, I don't even have a mouse. I'm just going to be doing this on the trackpad.
Dude, it'll be great.
Ironically, I think trackpad might be better. Like,
it might be. So Carl,
you got one of those stylus pens?
No, I don't. Do I?
Because that actually would make it like a drawing pad.
No, I don't have. I don't have one with me.
Darn.
I might have one in the other room. Is what it is. Regardless, last week, Carl got the largest meatball down the middle from like a middle.
Oh yeah, I
As
got
soon as he told me
so
what it was, I'm like,
easy.
what do you mean?
That's what we rolled, and I was like, okay, this is free because I know what this Pokemon looks like.
So I'm just going to share my screen.
Oh, we already rolled. We already got it for you.
Yeah, Carl and I both rolled,
just
shared with each other, and then we came to the consensus that we're picking mine. So you're welcome.
Okay, what are we doing?
Pokemon number... What was it, 740?
740.
740.
You know what 740 is off the top of your head.
Is it a Pokemon? It would be a Pokemon.
How much does
right?
Alola boy know Alola Mons?
So that's the thing. It's like I love my Alolan Mons, but I actually hate the Alolan games so much.
What if I told you it's an ice type from Alola? Does that help you?
It's oh my god! I have to do Crabominable.
Yes, you do.
Oh god. Oh god, I'm about to hate cry this Pokemon. Okay, so
this is like right up Angel's alley, right? Like he's
it's an ice type.
It's a crab, and like him being out on the East Coast, like seafood's a thing. Like this is literally your mon.
Okay, so I have to.
If you want to use the circle tool, as you can.
I want him to freehand everything.
I don't know how to. So like
you click the circle button, and then it draws a circle.
Wait, shapes.
Yeah, you figured it out.
Okay, so oh my god. Okay, so all I know is that
Carl, have you pulled it up so you can compare yet?
I haven't yet. No, I'm already excited though.
It's getting the black outline, and no, wait. How do I? No, I don't want to line like that. How do I get back to my?
You want to hit the brushes where it says brushes, or the pencil there. However you want to do it.
Yeah, I'm just going to do the pencil here. So I know it has like this weird like haircut. Like I think it's like the Al Davis haircut. And then I go, where is the fill? It has like that weird haircut there. Oh god, I feel awful. Where are its legs?
What's this?
Why couldn't
legs, man?
I had no problem with mine.
Yeah, because you had such an easy Pokemon.
Carl gave me Dottler today on stream, and I'm just like, this is fine.
Yeah, Dottler
was actually pretty good. I had its colors off, but it was pretty good.
I think I'm just going to draw like little arms. Like how you were like a perfectionist, Carl.
Yeah,
like,
you don't really care.
Yours. Oh god, no! I again like yeah, I know you got the big claws. Look at the
big meaty
Jesus
claws.
Christ. I'm not using the circles. I already committed to the first one. I'm going to go here.
There you go.
So I'm just going to give it some legs. You get two. No, that's too thick. It's a crab. They're like skinny legs. So I'm just going to go here. I'm just going to go here. Now the thing is that makes this. Wait, why did I stop? Oh, there we go. And then here, like that. No, the thing is, I know it has like a face. Like, all things have faces.
His face is the best part.
But like, and I know that like there's some blue somewhere. Where is the blue?
Where is the blue?
Okay, so I think it's like white.
Carl, have you seen shiny Crabominable?
And
this thing's sick looking.
Yeah.
I think it's like blue arms here. I'm gonna make no. I'm gonna make the legs blue as well. No, that's everything.
You can zoom in too. It looks like you're probably not connected all the way on that one side.
Yeah, that's what I think it is. Just gonna go, and then back here. No, god damn it.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think the arms are white, but like the claws and the feet are blue. How am I going to do its face? Because like I know like the body's part of the face, like it's SpongeBob.
He could see it. He could see it in his mind, but he can't.
So like, I think it's. This. Yes. I'm never doing this again.
No, we gotta do it in like 3 weeks, bud. What are you talking about?
So I think it's like its eyes are like this. No. Oh God. Oh Lord. Oh
Abort.
Lord. That. That.
See how much
this
fun
is a completely
this is?
visual bit, but like if you're not watching this on YouTube, you need to go watch it for this segment.
So here's the thing: you can watch it on
I
Spotify
forgot about
now too.
Spotify.
Like Spotify, I upload the videos to Spotify, so you can watch it there as well.
It's there.
He looks like Punchy Pat-Man.
I was gonna say he looks like. Sure, I was gonna say Chernobyl Pat-Man.
But... there's a character from Kirby that reminds me of.
I know what you're talking about. I can't think of its name.
I remember it has like a big smile. Oh God, how do I do the smile though? Okay, so I remember like blue lines. I remember a smile. There's some gray somewhere, right? I think this is supposed to be gray. So like a nice sure, like why not? I think in my what's worse is I'm pretty sure I had like Crabominable on my team when I played Ultra Sun. That was also 7 years ago or something like that.
When you're done, make sure to sign Crabominable at the top, and then save it for us. We're gonna eventually fill a Pokedex full.
I really want to start putting them on like the stream overlay for when I have my teams, but like I need to draw a lot more before then.
Lines here.
Yeah, we'll need a lot of Pokemon.
I remember lines. Switch lines here. And we're gonna make like a smile, and I'm gonna outline it in blue. No, that's not good enough. It's gonna be like that. Big smile. He just evolved. He's in the snow and he just evolved. Crab.
This is fantastic.
Are we signing off? Are we locking it in?
Oh God, no! I've been.
We are locked in. This is. Make sure you save it. Go to file and save.
File save.
Name it Crabominable or whatever. 740. I don't.
Yeah, I have a.
Yeah, I'll
folder on my desktop.
I'm going to stop sharing.
It's called Pokemon Paint.
Save. Yeah, I'll probably make a folder pictures.
Now, would you like to see
how close you
Crabominable?
Yeah. Give me a second. I saved it as Crabominable War Crime. Share it.
There you go.
Okay, so I got like
you were closer than you think. So you got
the hands. You got the blue hands. You got the like. I mean, honestly, there is blue on the legs. I will give you that.
You got the line on the stomach.
The only thing I smile, even though it's not exact. Like you got the like the big details. I didn't either. I completely forgot it had the little.
Like if we were playing Pictionary and you had to draw,
I could have guessed.
You had to guess that. I probably could have guessed
gotten it from that.
Yeah,
the gray body was a little off,
so like.
But...
Yeah, that was
because I knew there. I was like, "Is there gray?" And I was definitely thinking of like the dark blue. Mm-hmm. But yeah, all I remember this and like this is like if Al Davis was a Pokemon. Is it not?
Man, I just kind of want to keep doing this because this is just so much fun.
I am done. We will be Carter, I hope that we give you just an awful Pokemon in, actually it'll be 2 weeks.
Isn't that the week I'm gone? Because I go back to nights?
We record next.
So we'll have to record early.
Oh, God. Yeah, that's fine.
It'll be okay. I can always do it. We can always do it out of order. It's fine.
Yeah.
Plus, I've already done 2 of them. So, really...
The ones on stream don't count.
No, those don't count.
It did give you a new profile picture, Carl, so...
Yes, my profile picture is the art model. It is amazing, and I love it.
Yeah,
he's just so goofy.
Also, yeah, I feel like I did better than the
was good. I didn't say accurate, but it was good.
Best 10,000 channel points.
Angela, you didn't see the Dottler today, did you?
No, I did not.
I'll drop it in.
We'll throw that up, and while you're throwing that up, as all of you have probably guessed now, Carter is... How many days are you streaming Blue Skies?
So it depends on the work schedule. Yeah. I'm trying to do like 1 to 2, maybe like 3 to 4 streams a week. It really just depends. Like today I streamed. Tomorrow I'm gonna stream. Granted, this doesn't come out till next week, but
yeah.
But yeah, so my work schedule is really wonky. I rotate between having Mondays and Tuesdays off and having Wednesday, Thursday, Fridays off, and of course the weekends as well. So like depending on the week, it really just shows like when I'm able to. The weeks I'm on days, I try to stream when I first wake up because like Tiff is still asleep. So I, just kind of have the house to myself and can stream for a few hours and everything's okay. So, yeah, it just depends. The short answer is, if you want to know, follow me on Twitch.
Or you can join the Discord.
Yes. And we also, once he actually tells me when he's doing it, which a heads up would be nice, you could also be posting that on our Blue Sky, or it's just so we can go into this next one, and you'll get all of our other updates on videos, podcasts, anything else we're doing, streaming.
On our Blue. We got interviews coming up.
We have at least 2. I have to talk with the boys probably on Saturday. So yeah, at least 2 interviews, maybe 3. Coming up about Atlanta Regionals from 3 players who top cut. We have, again, just a ton of other coverage of Regulation I as that really starts to pick up. And you can get all that information on our Blue Sky at Littleroot Lessons. Also following us, I know that Carter and Carl it's the same as their Twitch and their old Twitters were, at Mr. Missouri 25 and at Musical. I am at Rose Tinted Cheeks with the H in Rose. You can also find watch all of our stuff on the YouTube, on our Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, if that still exists, and any other podcatcher.
Google doesn't exist using anymore, right? They took down their podcast service. Oh, it's what I used for a long time.
I know.
No longer on there, so.
Okay, so the Google's officially. I knew that they were getting rid of it. I didn't know if it happened or not. Yeah, Google's dead now.
Bye, Google.
And yeah, that's it. So thank you very much for joining us for our tier list and for watching me
draw a Crabominable.
The reason why I barely passed art class and do math for a living in the creative field. And yeah. Bye, everyone.